indeed to announce that Professor Ganesan Kannabiram sir wants to give our Pragjyotishpur University family a sapling of banyan tree as a token of love, which symbolizes growth, strength, and unity, values that is so important to our academic community. I now have the honor to invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir to accept on behalf of Pragjyotishpur University. Thank you, sir. It is now our honor to invite our esteemed chief guest, Professor Ganesan Kannabiram sir, to share his insights on subjects that resonates deeply with our mission, quality higher education for nation building.
Good evening to all of you, the distinguished guests on the dais, Professor Pragjyotishpur, Professor Lieutenant Colonel Rana Pratap Kalita, Professor Tangap Prasan, Professor Smriti Sinha, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jogesh T, Professor and Registrar of the University, the invited Vice Chancellors, Directors, Principals, IQAC Coordinators, and of course, dear students. I'm really happy that I'm invited to this great university to deliver the second Foundation Day address. So I'm indeed also happy to speak on the topic of quality of higher education for nation building. And it is very timely that NAAC is launching a set of reforms really to bring in more and more higher education institutions. More and more higher educational institutions and the fold of accreditation. And at the outset, I wish this university a grand time ahead and achieve. I'm very happy to see the first newsletter also. 2 years old and you have got a newsletter. It's a good beginning. I mean, it is time to celebrate achievements, however small or however big it is. And the topic of nation building is very wide and large. And given today's context, it's not about nation building, it's about nation rebuilding. And all of us know that we say that history is repeating. And there are two histories that we are looking at today. The one is the shortest history, it's relatively shortest, which is about 75 years post-independence, the short history. And the long history is about 2000 years. And the short history talks about India as a country and post, independence, and which many of us are part of it, and many opportunities and challenges we have seen. And the longer history, which is about 2000 years old, is where Bharat was at the helm of affairs. And many of you must be knowing that India was one of the largest economies of the world. Next to, of course, obviously we had China also. But today, China is able to get into the position of number 2 economy. But we are at level 5 and we want to move to level 3. And our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji saying that Viksit Bharat 2047, where we will become the 3rd largest economy of the world. And obviously, somebody may question or say that China has become the 2nd largest economy of the world, much ahead of India. But when India is lagging behind. But you all will appreciate that we are a democratic country, unlike China. And in a non-democratic country, anything is possible. And for example, if you have seen, there are a lot of medals being won by Chinese athletes. And you know the kind of practice and things that they go through. You must have seen some videos where how these young people are being tortured to practice to get those medals and accolades. So therefore, when we talk about the nation building, we are talking about a nation building for next 2000 years. Recently in one of the, I guess it was an election campaign where Modi ji was talking about what we do today is for the next 1000 years. And many people questioned whether how can you plan for 1000 years? And it is possible for us today to plan for 1000 years. It is only the direction that we are looking at. It is not the destination that we are looking at. We want to move in a direction where Bharat is a developed country. And for that, we need to embrace the nation first approach. And that nation first approach is for the longest history of 2000 years. As we talk about the nation or nation first or nation development, we are looking at two primary things. One is the economic development and the other one is social development or societal development. The economic development, of course, we have set some certain targets, and the Viksit Bharat target of being the top 3 economy of the world. But equally important is the societal development, where we are looking at have an inclusive society. We are a secular country. We have multiple religions. We have multiple, so many multiples. And in that, we want to become an very inclusive country, taking the people along with us. If we by chance fail to do that, bringing up an inclusive society, then this economic leadership is of no meaning. Obviously, this both has to be achieved together. That is where our focus of nation building should be in the time to come. And Gandhiji once said, if you want to change the society, change your education system. So, education system, particularly the higher education system, which is actually transforming the youth into jobs and youth into the society, has to be focused in our transformation. And for us to do that, the role of higher education itself is getting changed. And our Vice Chancellor and even the President talk about NEP 2020. And I'm sure that many of you must have read through NEP 2020 document as academics. The beauty of NEP 2020 document is that it is a philosophical document. It's a philosophy that gets communicated. And every time you read NEP 2020 document, you get different meanings to the things that are described. So it has provided opportunities, so many things that you can do. In my own experience of leading an institution in Andhra Pradesh, where we implemented NEP 2020 in 2020 itself, meaning that we implemented a set of initiatives in 2021 for the 2020 batch admitted students. Effectively, we have implemented from 2020. And within 5 years, when I left that institute in 2018, we could see those initiatives have yielded results. Being it, preparing students for jobs or developing, fully developed personalities and the ability to, face and undergo stress in jobs, be it whatever be these thing that we are talking about. And of course, as Lieutenant General was talking about skills and all that, I think I'll focus a little bit on that before getting into what we are doing for quality education. Then we are looking at today skill as a focus. Now, skill is a very broader term that I'm using. Traditionally, our colleges, universities have focused on knowledge. That is the probably the British brought that way of teaching children, and that we continued for many years. And we realized that the knowledge focused education is not delivering what has to be delivered. Today, most of you know that a sizable percentage of engineering graduates are found to be not employable. The percentage, there are many percentages floating around, but definitely somewhere around 40 to 50% or around 40% of the graduates are not employable. They go through a rigorous process of admission, spend 4 years of their study, and there is a great curriculum that we talk about, great teachers are involved, yet they are not employable. So what is wrong with this? The system. The system is we completely focused on knowledge, and there is a shift required that we need to focus on skills. Now, the skill, as I said, is a very broad. For a 18-year or 17-year-old, child, it is very broad. And when they get into higher education, and be it other kind of courses that they are taking up today, engineering, and I was just telling, today engineering has become only computer science. The mechanical or civil or metallurgy or production. Some of these colleges in Tamil Nadu, for example, where I come from, have closed civil engineering, closed mechanical engineering. Correct? So therefore, there is sort of movement that are happening in the higher education system, but that's not good. But then the skills that we are talking about, these are three broad skills. The first skill is what we call as core skills. Core skills, which the core skills has two parts. One is the hard skills. Irrespective of the program that you study, whether it's computer science or mechanical engineering or history or geography or commerce or business, any course that you study, you need to understand the basics of that domain, as well as the applicability of the concepts that you study in that domain. Be it a first year subject or a third year subject, when you get into job market, when you graduate out of your college, you must have acquired those hard skills. When I say hard skill, it's not hard. It is hard to the domain. And the second is, as Lieutenant General was saying, the soft skills. There are a lot of teachers in our own life we have seen. There are teachers who have very good content, but they cannot deliver. There are very good communicators, teachers. When you attend 60 minutes class and you get out of the class, you will wonder, what did I learn today? Our own teachers are like that. But in increasingly difficult jobs in the industry, that you need to really communicate well. And that communication, as he also pointed out, is you talk about one-to-one communication, which we call as interpersonal communication, communication in groups, communication in teams, communication in public. These situations are there as part of jobs today. Therefore, you need to look at the core skills, both the hard skills and the soft skills. The second skill is what we call social skills. That also was talked about. The social skills are very important today, and being in India, being part of the Bharat, and Bharat being looked at by many other countries today for good cultural values that we have, you need to look at how these cultural social values be taught and brought to the students. And it is about, in very simple terms, it is about how you sympathize and empathize your fellow student. When you get into a college and you get students of varied types, socially backward, economically backward, physically challenged, there are girls coming from rural areas, so many combinations. And as a student, am I able to sympathize and empathize other students, their own challenges and opportunities that they have? It's also about looking at how you are able to see the society little, outside your campus, outside your classmates, outside your college, how you are able to see. These two dimensions of looking at your immediate neighborhood and beyond is also an important aspect. So I talked about core skills, I talked about social skills. The third important skill is what is called life skills. And these life skills were not really focused all the programs, even my college days, there will be one subject, some value education or something like that, and that's what was taught by somebody, and many times we students skipped that class. And today we realize that value education is very important. If you don't, take me wrong, today you open a newspaper like Times of India or any newspaper that you get today, and you just count the number of news that has got negative content, and you look at everything that is not required for the society as a human race, or being, incidents are happening and that are being reported. Why are they getting like this? Society is getting like this. Why we are not able to teach our children what is good for our society? And that skills comes from life skills. So you need to know what is good and what is wrong. I am sure that university like ours will help students to understand their personality. I'm sure some of our teachers know that our children, or some of them are left brain, some of them are right brain. And the right brain is more creative and the left brain is more analytical. And many times we do a mistake of a right-brained child to put in engineering and a left-brained child into an arts and design program. So now, even after admitting them into the university and college, we can still help the students to identify where their interests are. And our NEP obviously helps you to choose programs. Today, you can specialize in 2 areas. You can study mechanical engineering and computer science. You can study economics and history. You can study literature and computer science. NEP provides opportunities so that you can look at what they want is given to them. The second is about being happy. And for you to make them be happy, it is about teaching them what is that the inner mind says. Look at yoga, meditation, and all that. And the institution where I was the director, we started yoga program as a credit course, yoga course as a credit course. We were the first government institution to start yoga as part of the credited curriculum. Obviously, we don't have teachers to teach. We signed an MOU with the Art of Living, and their trained teachers came and taught 300 students in 2 semesters yoga. And not all the students picked up and practiced yoga, but sizable percentage of students continued. So the third skill is about life skills, which we need to focus. In this context, if you look at, there is a lot in our Indian knowledge system, and NEP provides opportunities, and universities like ours should pick up Indian knowledge systems and so on. And also, the second entity that the university is focusing is industry. Now, today, universities and industries are apart, except some IITs and NITs and some central universities which are able to work closely with the industry, and not many other universities and colleges are able to do. When we say industry alignment or industry linkage, we are not necessarily talking to Infosys or TCS or Toyota or someone else. There are so many industries in a neighborhood. They are small and medium enterprises, they are micro businesses, there are very small businesses. And how can we help those is what we need to look at. And how can we encourage our students to go to such places, have primary understanding, first-hand understanding of how things happen, and how can they help such businesses. And in a larger scale, you look at doing R&D, innovation, creating intellectual property, and helping companies to create new products. All are possible. And the third stakeholder is obviously the society, leaving the industry. Now, there are programs like Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. And today you look at Unnat Bharat Abhiyan program helps you to, or enables you to create a model of engagement with villages. And you can take all your students to the villages and make them appreciate and understand their requirements and contribute to these villages. And this is also possible. So the upcoming higher education, apart from looking at economic growth is also looking at an overall development in students. And how do we create that kind of quality institutions and that kind of quality students eventually who will contribute to the Viksit Bharat. And of course, I will just move on to a little bit NAAC. Of course, there is a question answer session a little later. Now, the NEP 2020 is the mother of our reforms now. And if you look at the basic accreditation that we are going to launch in December, the second half, is going to have 95% of the metrics are almost directly or indirectly related to NEP 2020. Some of you may have a question that, no, not all institutions have implemented all aspects of NEP. Yes, we are aware of it. But increasingly, progressively, we want institutions to adopt NEP 2020. That's how the system is designed. So we going to launch the basic accreditation in December. Then we plan to launch the maturity-based graded levels in March. And being in Northeast, I am very happy to tell you that we had a workshop in Guwahati University sometime in July. And there were a lot of feedback. Close to 1,000 people participated in that workshop. And one is that if you, I'm sure that, I didn't mention, I'm sure that you have gone through Dr. Radhakrishnan committee recommendations on assessment accreditation. There is a clear emphasis on institutions located in rural and remote areas. Rural, of course, we have, all over the country we have rural areas. We have so-called aspirational districts, about 100 plus aspirational districts, which are being identified as less developed and needs focus. And when you look at remote, it is only Northeast. And we have a special focus on rural and remote location institutions. What are we going to do? There are two things that we have in our plan. One is that we have a hand-holding mechanism, which means that irrespective of where the institution is, whether they are coming for the first time or they are already in some level of our current framework, and step by step we will help them. And we are setting up a 24/7 help desk. We are hiring some consultants who have got good knowledge on accreditation. They are available anytime for you to call and talk to them, send an email, get clarifications. So that you don't get stuck at any point in time. The second is that we are introducing what is called mentoring system for higher education institutions. Here, starting with Northeast, we are going to hire senior academics who will directly help the institutions end to end, starting from understanding the process, the metrics, and preparation of documents, submission of documents, and handling those other aspects of the process. These institutions will be helped through mentors. And this is an important thing. There is a lot of money, financial resources that we are going to commit for this particular thing, which means every 10 institutions, 15 institutions will have a mentor appointed by NAAC in consultation with the state government, in consultation with the other authorities at the state level. And this will help in more and more institutions to come forward for accreditation. The next one is the graded levels. Any accredited institution can opt for maturity-based levels. And the next set of programs that we are launching is what we call as outside accreditation work. Recently we completed our 30th Foundation Day. So we have created a new program called NAAC 30++. The first plus is in terms of reforms in NAAC. The second is there are three initiatives that we are looking at. The first one is we are setting up a center for research in higher education quality. So a lot of data that we have and a lot of data that we are going to collect, and together with the data that we have, with some more primary data that we can collect, we want to do research and provide inputs for policy making. Today there is no special or dedicated institution or dedicated research efforts for providing inputs for policy making in higher education that NAAC wants to do. But we are not going to do research. We don't have bandwidth of manpower to do that. But we are going to call for proposals, and institutions, researchers can apply for these projects and do the project and submit the reports. And the second one is NAAC social responsibility. And This is different initiatives where we are going to start with Bangalore. After coming to Guwahati, today I'm thinking that we should launch this in Northeast also, is that we are going to connect school students, college students and youth, employed youth. And the college students will help school students, the employed youth will help the college students. This is a program where the three type of stakeholders coming together and each of them will help it. They will help each other. And today this university being located in a remote area, and these kind of social responsibility initiatives, we will bring industry experts from Bangalore or from Chennai or from other locations, conduct workshops for children in studying in these colleges. That is our aim. The third is where we want to internationalize our activities. So we are planning now to go abroad, go to other countries, do accreditation. Starting with the SAARC countries, starting with some African countries. We are going to collaborate with leading accrediting agencies in the world, and we are going to do that. With these few words, I once again thank you for the opportunity, and I wish all the best to the new university. I'm sure that you don't have a legacy. You are very young, 2-3 years old. I remember when I joined NIT Trichy as a faculty in 1989, the university college celebrated Silver Jubilee. So I was a faculty all through 25 years when we celebrated our Golden Jubilee. But I have seen how difficult to bring change. Every small change needs larger energy, effort. And when the institution grows, change is very difficult. And as a new institution, it is a really great opportunity. I mean, I should also share, when I became the director of IIIT, the institution was 5 years old. I was director for 5 to 10 years. There again, I found it difficult. The 5-year legacy is very difficult to change. Even the 5 years legacy is difficult. You are less than 5 years now, 2 years, 3 years. I think it is very much possible for you to make changes. And I wish, once again, I thank all of you for listening to me. Of course, there is a question answer session. I'm very eagerly waiting to that. I'm sure that you will not use stones but flowers. And with this, I once again thank you for the opportunity. And thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your profound insight and inspiring us with your words. Your insights have not only highlighted the critical role of education in shaping our nation's future, but also reminded us of the responsibility we carry as an institution. It is my great honor to invite Professor Pradeep